So good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, you can hear me clear, isn't it?
Good afternoon. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Let us start. This is one of the chapter in chapter 20 of EKG, that is the inert gas system. So this why you have the inert gas system on board the ship, because it is a fire protection. So there are three things that the triangle to complete. We know that one side is the heat, one side is the oxygen, and another is fuel. Now on tanker, you will be carrying the fuel, means the oil, which is as a cargo, and that is a fuel for fire triangle. If you look at the fire triangle. Okay.
Hello, sir. The screen is not visible for us.
Yeah. Is it now visible? Yeah. Okay. So why
Now
do
is okay, sir.
actually there's IG, that is inert gas system, because we know the fire triangle, one side is oxygen and another side is the heat, and you have the fuel, another side, third side is the fuel. So one tanker, you'll be having the liquid cargo, which is a oil, and oil is a fuel. Now, can we control the heat of the environment? We cannot control the heat of environment. We can control the external source of heat should not be there, that we can control. But the environmental heat, that temperature variation, atmospheric temperature, which we cannot control. So to break this triangle, the best way it can be O2. It means this we can remove. So we can have an IG plant by which we can supply the IG to the tank where the cargo is carried, that is the fuel for the fire. And this cargo is, which is oil, and we can remove this O2. So if we can remove this O2 to a percentage where it will not support to your combustion, then your tank become safe. It is the fire protection it gives. So that is the reason we have the inert gas plant on tankers. So it means this has to supply the requirement of this inert gas plant. It means it has to supply sufficient quantity so that you have large tanks. Those are the consumer. It's filled with inert gas. And then suitable overpressure. What does it mean, suitable overpressure? It means if your tank is slightly higher than the atmospheric pressure, we keep it higher than the atmospheric pressure. Why we keep it higher than the atmospheric pressure? Because if there is any leakage, then what will happen? The IG will leak out from the tank, but the air which should not enter into the tank, then it can lead to a fire. So that is the reason we always keep the tank slightly over pressure. And then quality, it means it has to have the good quality, because what is IG? We use, for an example, for an example on crude oil tanker, it will be from the boiler flue gas. Boiler flue gas, that, or we can have our IG generator, which will be producing IG by burning fuel, but that fuel will be a higher grade fuel, distillate fuel, not the heavy oil will be burning in the boiler. So the quality has to be maintained. What is the quality? One thing is the low oxygen contained as per IMO. It should be less than 8%. But good quality of IG, it should be around 5%. But depending on the cargo contamination, some cargo, it might be damage at that percentage, it might have to reduce. That is the cargo because of the cargo compatibility, you might have to reduce. But as far as fire is concerned, it is the less than 8%, it can have the oxygen contained, then it will not catch fire. It means we can remove this factor. And flue gas, there will be soot that has to be removed also. And our flue gas is very highly corrosive. So there are sulfur contents also. So that has to be also removed. It means we'll be using the flue gas for the inert gas system, but it has to be cool and clean. As well as the temperature of the flue gas is very high. It means if you supply at that temperature, we are supplying heat. So there will be chances of fire. So it has to be cooled, cleaned, and then it should go to the tank. And this sulfuric acid, when it has got sulfur SOx, and that will dissolve into water and it will become sulfuric acid. So this our flue gas is highly corrosive. What will happen once it carries over? In that condition, your piping system will get valves and all will get corroded. So it starts to be cool and clean, then it goes to the tank. Plus, there are source of heat also inside the tank. There will be electrostatic charges inside the tank. So because when you are supplying the IG, there are particles, and because of the particle, it will, and plus there are many other reasons it can happen. There will be static electrostatic charges into the tank, which can generate a spark and which can catch a fire. So since it will not catch fire because O2 is not there, sufficient O2 is not there, so it will not catch fire. So there are many sorts of heat source, it is there, which we cannot avoid it. So it will be there, but O2 is not there, so it will not catch fire. So let's see the system and how it works. So what are the source of IG? That is one of the flue gas from main boiler. If you have main propulsion as a turbine, steam turbine, then you will be having a main boiler. And if you're suppose on tanker, you have cargo pumps are driven, and you have the TG, that is turbo generator, which is driven by the steam. So you will be having the auxiliary boiler. These are the large, means the medium pressure boiler, and main boiler, it will be the high pressure boiler. So there we use that flue gas for the IG after cooling, cleaning, and then we supply to the tanks. And you can have inert gas generator also on chemical tanker and the gas carrier. You have the chemical tanker will be having the inert gas generator, and some chemical tanker you can have the nitrogen generator. Nitrogen is an inactive gas, that is the inert gas, and gas carrier will be having the nitrogen generator. So it means the flue gas, it means whatever is the source, your flue gas has to be clean and cooled. But this is the one, it means it is actually displacing your oxygen. It means one way you are actually protecting from the fire, another way you are actually having a atmosphere, oxygen deficient atmosphere, where actually you cannot enter, because it is life cannot survive there because of the oxygen content is so less. So one way we are fire protection of fire will give you protection of fire, but as well as with the same time we are creating an atmosphere which is health hazard. So if you see these are the composition you'll be having in the flue gas: oxygen, means the Ig, oxygen it will be, it means then only you will be producing, you will be able to producing the your Ig, because this oxygen content has to be low. So it is, you get around, you can adjust and you can get around 44% by volume. These are in volume, and you can adjust the air fuel ratio such a way you can have this oxygen content. Carbon dioxide will be around uh, 30 35%, and then carbon monoxide will be around 1000 ppm. Now NOx will be around, N2 will be around 77 gram per percent by volume approximately, and this will be, actually this is 3.5%, and then the 77% nitrogen will be 0.01 ppm. These are the traces actually, and sulfur dioxide will be around 0.3% volume, and then the solid particle, that is the soothes, will be there, and your temperature is 450 degrees centigrade. So these all, it means the oxygen you cannot reduce in the process when you are doing the cleaning, and the cooling. Cooling will reduce this temperature. This is the 450 degrees centigrade. It will reduce to the normal temperature because your cooling will be done by the seawater. And oxygen content will remove, means it will remain. Carbon dioxide will be also remain. Carbon monoxide also will be remain. But NOx and SOx will be, and particulate soothes will be it will be removed. So even when you do the cleaning, we can more than 90% of the SOx we can remove. The SOx and NOx will be removed more than 90%, and soothes also substantially it will be removed. So it is cooled, and then what will happen when it is cooling is done, that time we cool by the direct contact between the oxygen, means the air, means the flue gas with the your seawater. And then in seawater, so all the condensable gases, that is the SOx, NOx, they are condensable gases. They will get condensed with the dissolve in water, and then they will become acids. And then only the non-condensable gases will move upward direction, and the condensed gases, which is already given condensed, then means dissolve in water, they will move downward direction, being heavier, and then they will come out from the system. So scupper unit, basically the principle is by direct contact between the seawater and the flue gas, only the non-condensable gases will pass through soothes. Soothe will become heavier because it will become wet, and then it will move downward direction, as well as your SOx and NOx also will be removed. So there are different type of, before we go to the individual item, let us see our system. So this is the basic system. How it works, you have the flue gas. So this is the boiler uptake. It is coming from the boiler and it is going to the funnel. So this is our boiler. Now this is the flue gas isolating valve or the boiler uptake valve. So this is the first valve which is isolating the boiler uptake to the IG system. It means when IG is not in use, that time no flow, it means your boiler is still in operation. Boiler flue gas should not come to this side. It will come to the atmosphere. Then this is the scupper, where it is cooled and cleaned. And after that, we'll see in individual component how it is, all the major components. And this is the scupper. Since we have seen that it is cooled and cleaned by direct contact between the flue gas and the seawater, then there will be a carryover of seawater. So this carryover, which we don't want, if there is a carryover, what will happen? That will go to the piping system and that will have a corrosion. The corrosion rate will be high, as well as some product carrier, if this water goes into the product which is already been distillate, so what will happen? That cargo will get damaged. Because in crude oil, it might not have that much problem, because crude oil anyway it is extracted from the earth and then it is going to the refinery for distillation process. So that's the reason we don't want this water to carry over. There will be there will be a corrosion in the piping system, as well as some cargo can get also contaminated. So we have a demister, like the freshwater generator. You have seen the demister, similar way. So the water droplets will get separated and it will drop down to the scrubber unit, and only the gases will come here. Once the gases is coming here, then there is the IG blower. This is the inert gas blower. And then there will be two inert gas blower, and there will be the isolating valve. It means there will be a valve. These are all valves. So this is one of suction valves and the delivery valves. It has to be, isolation has to be there. Otherwise, what will happen when you are using only one blower? Then what will happen? This will come, this delivery will be moving part of it this direction, part of it this direction. This will have rotate in opposite direction like it is motoring. So that affects, to avoid, we have the isolation valve, as well as if suppose something goes wrong, you can isolate it and do the maintenance. So as per these all are as per the SOLAS regulation. And then after that, there is delivery valves, which is isolating valve, and then it goes, one line is going to the recirculation. It's going back to the scrubber. So, and one line is going to the your system, and this is it is dividing the safe and hazardous zone. So this side is the hazardous zone, that is the cargo area. This side is the non-hazardous zone. This is the forward bulkhead of the engine room. So the engine room is non-hazardous area. Outside the engine room, forward bulkhead of engine room is the hazardous area. Then in between there is a component called the pressure regulating valve. This pressure regulating valve we can control from the CCR control room. So what pressure we want to maintain in the system. So that is a pressure regulating valve. We can maintain a certain pressure in the system, and after that it is penetrating the penetrating the non-hazardous zone and coming to the hazardous zone. So there will be a vent valve. So there is a vent valve which is going to the atmosphere, and then there is a deck water seal tank. So it is coming from it means when it is not going to suppose it is not going to your tank, then we can vent it out to the atmosphere. So there will be one controlling valve which is venting out. Now here there is a deck seal. It means this line which I have drawn here, this is dividing the non-hazardous zone to hazardous zone. Nothing from this side should enter into the non-hazardous zone, because what you have this side, hydrocarbon gases, which is highly dangerous, because this can have fire, health hazard, all these things. So nothing should go towards this. And what you have this from here to here, so this is a production. It means you have produced the IG here. And what you have here, it is the distribution line. Through the piping system and require the valves and all, you are distributing the IG to the consumer. What is the consumer? Consumers are the tanks. In the tanks it is going. So they are the consumer, and these are the distribution system. And this is the production. It means you have produced here, and then through the distribution system you are sending it to the tanks, that is the consumer. Now this deck water seal tanks, which is the flow, it prevents the reverse flow. Suppose when there can be a reverse flow, if this side pressure, you have a blower, this side pressure is P1 and this side pressure is P2. I am talking about the pipeline pressure. So now if the P1 is greater than P2, there will not be any reverse flow. The flow will be in this direction. But there can be a circumstances the P1 can be less than P2. P1 has increased and it has situation, this is the condition happens. Then what will happen? This P2 will means from this side the pressure will enter into the other side. So to make sure nothing should flow from this direction to the safe zone, so we'll have to have one of the thing is Dake water seal. It prevents, it acts like a non-return valve. So it prevents water non-return valve. So it prevents any backflow to the non-hazardous zone from the hazardous zone, any gases, whether it is IG, whether it is hydrocarbon, nothing should go to that side. And then after that, you have a mechanical non-return valve. This one is mechanical non-return valve. So, and mechanical non-return valve should be always forward of the Dake water seal. Dake seal, after that it will be, means forward of that it will be the mechanical Dake non-return valve. Why you need that? You have already one thing is here, Dake seal, then why do you need that? Suppose a tank gets overflown, then what will happen? This IG line which is connected to all the tanks, then the oil will come to the IG line. And if you don't have this mechanical non-return valve, then what will happen? This IG will come to this. Not IG, the oil will come to this, and the system, how it works, will see continuously the water is overflowing from that tank. Means at a certain level, it is maintaining a level. So continuously there is a flow inlet and seawater and outlet to the sea. So what will happen? This oil will come out, and also this oil, once it is mixed with this water, it can go to this side. So there is pollution as well as there can be a fire hazard in the non-hazardous zone. But if you have a mechanical non-return valve which will prevent that oil to flow this side, so it will prevent your pollution as well as it will prevent the fire hazard to a non-hazardous zone in the engine room. And after that you have a Dake isolating valve. This is the valve which is the Dake isolating valve. It means this is, you can open and shut manually, and you can isolate the Dake to this side. It means this is up to the mechanical non-return valve, Dake seal, and the production unit, everything will be isolated from the Dake. So there is a Dake isolating valve. After that, the main line will go like this. This is the main line which is going from aft to forward. This, and then from there the individual tank will be connected. So these lines what I have just drawn, it is going to the individual cargo tanks. And then each cargo tank has to have a isolation valve. So what you see here, these are the isolating valve for each tank. And this is something, safety is provided, that is called pressure vacuum breaker. It means if we want to send the IG, it means what will happen? We'll generate IG here and we'll maintain a pressure, and then through the Dake seal, this mechanical non-return valve through, and then this valve has to be open, the Dake isolating valve. So IG will flow towards this direction, and then it will go to the tanks. This way you can connect to any tanks and all the tanks also. And now suppose some reason the pressure increases here, then what will happen? That has to be released, because our tank design is such so that there is a limit to as per the design, how much pressure it can withstand. So the cargo tank, because it is connected to the cargo tank. So there is one equipment you have, this is called pressure vacuum breaker. What is that actually? It's this breaker. It's like this. You have a pot which is containing water. So it is filled with water. And this is, we are maintaining a water, and you have a pipe which is going to aft to forward. And this pipe has got a hole and it is connected to one pipe like this. So this is the pipe which is connected to the IG main. This is the IG main. Now what will happen? It is filled with water. So at certain pressure, it is giving you a seal. It is a sealed pot. Now, if there is a high pressure, then what will happen? That pressure will push this water out. So it will come out like this, and then what will happen? This water will flow out from the pot. Once this water is out from the pot, then what will happen? This pressure will get released. So your tank will not be damaged. So this is one of the safety you have for the structural damage. Now it can create vacuum. Suppose when it can create this kind of a situation, suppose you are supplying the IG, when IG will be during the discharging, you will be needing the IG because you are discharging the cargo, level is going down in the tank. What will happen to the pressure in the tank? It will drop, and that should compensated by the IG, not by the air. So the IG you are supplying, suppose your discharge rate is higher than the IG supply rate, then what will happen? Pressure will drop. If your discharge rate is less than the IG pressure, then what will happen? It can happen some circumstances, then the pressure in the tank will increase. Then what will happen? This will flow out the water, this will push out the water, and then this pressure will get released, your tank will be safe. But in other case, what will happen? When it is the vacuum is created, low pressure is created in the tank, then what will happen? Then what will happen? There will be a vacuum created inside. This water will be sucked in. And once the water is sucked in, then what will happen? Then the air will enter from this passage to the tank. So the tank will be protected. Now you may think that if air is entering into the system, it is actually fire hazard, isn't it? But you need to take a chance. You have no choice. If your tank collapse, then what will happen? It will be a higher disaster than this. So it is allowed by the IMO that yes, you can have this arrangement, and the pressure, at least the tank is safe, there will not be pollution, and even if it is collapsed, the tank will be collapsed, and the oil, there will be pollution, and there can be a fire also. So this is the way arrangement is. This is called the pressure vacuum breaker. So, and this water, there will be a level sensor here, so that you know this level has gone down. If the level has gone down, it means you will see that if it is because of the overpressure, it means then you'll have to adjust the pressure so that the tank pressure is maintained, it's not overpressure. And if it will ensure also that you go there, it will not be filled automatically, because automatic filling will not be there, then the safety will not work. Our safety purpose to break this breaker, so that if there is any pressure, it should get released. If there is any vacuum, it should get filled up by the air. So, but it should give you an alarm when the level is dropped. It means level is dropped means there is some reason. It can be because of the evaporation. Then in a normal condition, during the round, what you do, you fill up this water. It means that is not because of the high pressure, over pressure, or the under pressure in the tank. And another thing, always keep it in mind that tanks, all our tanks are pressure tested, not vacuum tested. Even in the new building, it's never been vacuum test is never been done. It is only the calculation. We don't know at what vacuum it will fail. Pressure test has been done, so we know what pressure it will fail, because we are confident that at that pressure it will hold. There will not be any tank failure. But vacuum is not actually done, so we really don't know at what vacuum it will collapse. And then this line will go to the forward, it goes to the mast riser. What is the mast riser? Suppose we see a vessel like this, and we have the number of tanks, and you have seen the forward mast. This forward mast, it means there will be a mast riser. This other end, which is going to the forward, that will have a mast. It will go up to the mast, and this mast will be, it means when you are loading, then what will happen? Your tank is having the hydrocarbon gases and the IGs, those are. Now when you are taking the cargo, what will happen? The level is increasing, pressure will increase. So those vapors has to be removed out. So that gets removed out from the mast riser. So it's going to the, at certain height it is. So this is the mast riser. It will be near the forward mast, and then it will be released through this at certain height, because on deck people are working. It should be clear of above, means much clear of that, so that the people can work on deck safely. And also when it is coming out, it means there is a flame arrestor here. So the flame arrestor, the working principle, what we have seen, it's exactly that flame arrestor will prevent any flame to come out as well as any flame to go inside. So only if there is a flame here, it will release only the pressure, not the flame. Flame will get trapped in flame arrestor. So is it clear how the system is? Any question? Because I'll go into the individual component. Yeah, highlight, tell me.
Good afternoon, Chief.
Good afternoon.
This liquid filled pressure vacuum breaker is water or oil? It's normal.
It is water. It is not oil. It will be water.
Water.
And the vessel is, if going to the cold climate, like in cold climate, what you do? Freshwater line, everything you drain, isn't it, on deck? Otherwise, it will be damaged because of it will get frozen. Here, in that case, when she goes, glycol, that is antifreeze, has been added so that this will not get frozen. So this is not oil, it is water. So water heat column is calculated such a way at what pressure, it means less than the design pressure of a tank, it will break. But in normal condition, it will not break. So neither it will go inside the water, or neither water is spilled out. Any other question? This about the system, is it clear to you? A boiler flue gas, how we use for the IG. Now let us see the components. So the first component, we have the uptake valve. After that, we have the scrubber. And scrubber, there are a different type of scrubber you can have. That is the spray pack tower, scrubber tower, plate, stage scrubber tower, and venturi scrubber. So this cover, what it does actually, it is soot you remove the soots, the spray type, as well as the condensable gases, that the sulfur, SOx, NOx, all been removed. So if you see this, it means there are sprayer. It means this is the liquid, these are the nozzle through which water, these are the water, seawater connection is here. So this is the seawater inlet. You will be having a scrubber seawater pump. So it is in the engine room, and this is also in the engine room, this unit, and it is coming from the scrubber seawater pump. Once it is coming here, what is happening? There is a sprayer. In spray form, water is moving downward direction, and our Ig is entering from here. So this will be the Ig, which is high temperature, highly corrosive. It enters and it moves upward direction. And whereas the seawater in spray form, it's moving opposite direction. It means it is counterflow. So it is also a heat exchanger. But in addition to that, it is direct contact heat exchanger, so that the temperature is reduced in the exhaust gas, the flue gas, as well as its cleaning, because it is direct contact. So what will happen? So non-condensable gas will move upward direction. So this will be the upward direction. After cooling, non-condensable gas will move up, and the condensable gas will, the seawater, it will move downward direction. It means when it is moving in downward direction, this is the water, and which will, after cleaning, it is coming. It means seawater will be mixed with soot and then acids, that is the sulfuric acid, nitric acid, and then it will get collected at the bottom, and from bottom it will go to the overboard. So as far as the IMO is concerned, you can discharge to the sea, but some local regulation says no, you cannot. Then what will happen? You will be having a overboard line here, and another line will be having, which is going to a tank. So you will be having two valves here. If it is allowed, you open this. If you don't allow, this is because an IG operation will not be for a long time, because the tank are loading and discharging very fast, they do, and during the loading, actually you are using the shore pump, so their capacity is high. So you can store it on the ship, and then you go out of the coastal water. After that, they will tell that up to which nautical mile, after that you can discharge. After that, during the sailing, you can discharge this collected water and the acids and all. So, and this is the simplest way you can have. And on top, you will be having the demister. Demister will be here. You will be having on top. You will be having the demister. So, and it will separate the water droplets. And when it is coming out, there will be some carryover, which is going to the your IG blower. So this is the arrangement of it, the cleaning and cooling. So it will reduce the temperature, as well as it will remove the SOx, NOx, as well as soot particles, which we don't want to go to the cargo tank. So this is one type of, and there are other types also. So now, if you see that the capacity of the packed scupper tower, that is the spray tower what we have seen, and then you can have a packed scupper tower. So the capacity, you can see it is a very huge capacity you can have, because the IG requirement, you can imagine, if it is a VLCC, ULCC, so the tank capacity is huge. It means you can carry VLCC around 450,000 tons of oil. So you discharge maybe 24 hours, or load maybe around 12 hours or 20 hours, for an example. Within that time, when you are discharging, one day you are discharging, within one day you'll have to fill up that tanks by at the same time. Otherwise, your pressure will drop in the tank, then you cannot discharge. You'll have to maintain a positive pressure in the tank. So the capacity is always high. So 150,000 meter cube per hour, you can have the capacity. And the pressure loss is less. It means, because we need to have some pressure also to the system, the suction pressure of your blower. And the water consumption is this, and extraction effect is very high. So the particle over means the 2 meter you can remove in from the exhaust. That is the IG we are using for the IG. So this is the how it actually work in this case. What happened? We have the seawater. It is also done by the seawater. Seawater is moving downward, and the gas, which is the IG, that is the flue gas, is entering from the bottom. it will move upward direction, and seawater will move downward direction. But there are packed bed. This packed bed, it means the flue gas and the water, the interaction will be better. Previous one, if you see that there will be interaction, but there can be some means the less interaction can be when it is moving out, maybe upward direction, or the water is falling downward direction. There are suppose you have a packing like this. There will be number of packing like this. There are different type of packing we can have. So one of the packing I am drawing. So now what will happen if you put this packing? There are gaps, and in this packed bed, then your gas and water has to pass through this, and when it is passing, their interaction will be higher, better than the previous one. And there are different type of packing you can have. This is one of the packing I have drawn. So they keep inside, and then the water has to flow through that to move down, and the exhaust, this is the flue gas, also pass through the similar passage. So there will be more interaction, cooling, and the cleaning will be better. And on top you have the demister. This demister will, that carryover has to be removed, otherwise there will be a corrosion. So this is the way we have another type of scupper. Then we have the perforated plates. This is the tray. So we have the trays, and water is coming from top. Then this is the seawater is entering from the top, and the gas you're entering from the bottom. The gas is always from the bottom to the upward direction. Being lighter, it will move up, and the water will spray downward direction, and the water has to have a certain velocity, because it should not carry over with the gas, because with the velocity it should drop downward direction. The nozzle size is made that way. So what will happen? The water is entering this is the water, and then it is getting collected into the your tray. This is a tray, and what will happen? This tray is perforated, and this flow is adjusted such a way it maintain a level here. And after that, what will happen? It will overflow and come to the next tray, and the next tray will overflow. Then only it will come to the next one, and then finally it will go to the at the bottom. So when, and this, all the trays will maintain some level. Once it maintains a level here, then what will happen? The gases which is moving upward direction, which will move this perforated gaps there are, it will move like this. And there will be an interaction between the water and the gases, and condensable gases will get condensed, and then it will come to the, as a liquid, it will come separated, and the non-condensable gases only will move upward direction. That will be CO2, nitrogen. Then you have the means the nitrogen, CO2, these are the main, and CO also it will be. So those will be escaped through the upward direction, because there is a non-condensable, and soothes also will get separated. And then you have the eliminator, means this is the demister, which will, the water will get eliminated, which is been carried over, and then it is going to the your IG blower. And then this water will go to the, it means it will go to the overboard, and you have the similar system that you will be having a tank connection. If some port they don't allow, then you put it to the tank. So this is the way you can see it is in details. It is given there are many holes here, perforated hole. So through this hole, it is entering, the gases is passing through this. So this gas can penetrate this, it will enter into this and then bubble it out. And what will happen? This is the, it is overflowing and then maintaining a level of water. And that level, it means it has to pass through this water column, and then the condensable gas all will get condensed, and the non-condensable gas will move upward direction. So it will move like a mist, and then it will get what the water, the moisture separator is here, and after that it will go to the IG blower. This is another arrangement you can have. Yeah, Yop, tell me.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
For this mechanism of a scrubber, the gas which is going to be inlet, either the perforated plate or the demister, which is the eliminator, will it not be clogged since the gas is not a pure gas because it's composition of some soot also?
Yes.
So what is the mechanism to avoid this clog?
Clogging, see, if it is designed such a way so that it will remove, because there is a regulation how much soot it will be removed, because soot is a problem which can clog it. So soot's removal, even up to 2 micron they can remove this process. And after that, periodical maintenance you can remove this demister and you can clean it, like the freshwater generator you do sometime. It will be similar way. So periodical maintenance you'll have to do. That condition, you can see the condition off, but only thing, when you are entering, it has to be considered as a enclosed space, and you'll have to isolate completely system. Then only you will be able to enter and do the maintenance. And maintenance can be done. There is a space through which you can do the maintenance if it is clogged. And you can do the periodical checks also if it is clogged or not. There are inspection doors through which you can see. But if it is functioning properly, it will last for longer time. The clogging will not be so fast. During the operation, definitely it will not be clogged, because during the operation it is designed such a way it will not be. If you maintain the flow, all the parameters, if you maintain, or not only the flow, there is level here at the bottom, how much will be the level, and then the flow, and your nozzle is clear. So before cargo operation, you always check that nozzle, because water has to have a velocity, as I told you. This one actually it's maintaining a level, but this one, maintaining a level, sometime it is unable to maintain level, then it's a problem. Your cooling effect and the cleaning effect will be a problem, then it is a clogging can happen. But if you can maintain that, it will not be. That's why this is the cargo related. It means without this you cannot discharge cargo, ship will be delayed. This has to be checked before only, so that during the operation nothing should go wrong. So, and periodical maintenance you do. If you found it is clogged, you do the beforehand only. You can isolate and can do, because the inlet outlet, there are valves, isolating valves. Only thing, as I told you, that you should follow the enclosed space entry. Inside IG means no oxygen. Is it clear, you?
Yes, thank you.
So then there is Venturi type. There is another type of scupper where you have this contaminated gas which is entering, and then what will happen? There is a liquid, okay, here, and this liquid will be sucked in. Once this liquid is sucked in, this liquid will mix with this gas. Once this gas is mixed with this liquid, that is the seawater, then what will happen? It will come here, and then when it is entering into this chamber, it is having it will swivel, it will have a rotary motion. That is, it is changing the direction. Then what will happen? When it is coming from here, it is already the condensable gas will be dissolved in liquid. And once the condensable gas is liquid, means it is dissolved, as well as the soot also will become wet. When it is entering into this chamber, then what will happen? It will have a circular motion. It is made such a way. It means you can have a circular motion very easily. Suppose you have this is the, if you see from top, and if the flow is in this direction, it means you have a flow which is not towards the center, you can have a circular motion. Suppose it is entering like this, so it will have a circular motion. So once what we achieved by this kind of motion, then it will separate the different mass of means the component which is having a different mass, like water will be heavier, soot will be heavier now because it has become weight, and then it will get separated from the gas. So what will happen, on liquids and the soots will move down, and the gas being lighter will move up, and then it is clean gas outlet which will go to your blower, IG blower. So this is another way it can do the cooling and cleaning. So all we do use, and we use that even first one also we do use, but packed also we use. Problem is packed, if you have, there are chances of clog, because this packing can get clogged. Whereas the first one, you see the chances of, there is no blockage. It is only the water is flowing downward direction and the gas is moving upward direction. But there the nozzle can get choked. But periodical maintenance, that's why you do. But more effective is the other one is more effective. This is also is effective because you are separating this by creating a motion. Now this actually is what I have jumped. It is same that how you do it. It is the what I have shown you the diagram. It is the same, that solid particle which will have the with the interaction with the water, which will become wet, and also non-condensable will become liquefied. From the gaseous form, it will become liquefied. Then it will drop down because of this motion, that cyclone motion. Now extraction of the sulfur dioxide, this is a requirement. It means sulfur dioxide has to remove more than 90%. It has to be removed, and it is a requirement. So, and this cover can remove that, because it is, that's why to have more efficiency, we have those packing and all. So that you are giving the interaction between the gas and the seawater is more, so that more cleaning can be done. And this is the different type of packing you have. That's what the one packing I have done. This is the Rachi packing, and you can have PAL packing, PAL ring also. You can have saddle. This is ceramic, and there are various type of packing you can have. It means it is actually there is a passage through which it has to pass through, whether it is water, whether it is gases, and it will move in opposite direction. The interaction is better. So the event distribution of the seawater you can have throughout the packing, like the first one, which is not there actually. That event distribution is better here compared to that one. And the tower extraction, that is the soot extraction, is 2 micron. Means it will be extract that soot up to 2 micron it can extract, so that it is very clean when it is going to the IG blower. But there will be some soots will be carrying over, those will be less than your 2 micron around. So this is it extracts soot also, as well as it extract your non-condensable gases that will become liquefied. Deck water seal, that is another things what we have seen, that just after your forward bulkhead of the engine room, when it is coming out, you have the deck water seal. So deck water seal has got that is actually, it is preventing, as I told you, there will not be any reverse flow. It works as a non-return valve, water seal, but it is. So, and forward of that will be having a mechanical non-return valve. The reason what I told, it is that is the reason Now there are three type of water seal. One is the displacement water, and another is semi-dry, and the actually first one is the wet type, second one is the semi-dry, and the third one is the dry water seal. Now these two are accepted. This one is not accepted as a sole use. You cannot use, you can use, but you will have to have another one, this out of these two, because there is some reason for that. We'll see that. So if you see the first one, this is the wet type, this is the arrangement. How is the arrangement? You have the inlet which is coming from the IG blower through the pressure regulating valve, which is penetrating our forward bulkhead of the engine room. Then it's coming on deck, it will be on upper deck. And this here in this tank, that is the deck water seal, we maintain a water level. Continuously there is a water level maintained. How we can maintain? There is a deck water seal pump, a deck seal pump. So this deck seal pump is in the engine room, and the scupper pump also is in the engine room. And scupper pump, the overboard is through the engine room, because the scupper is in the engine room. Here you have the deck seal which is on deck, and this pump is in the engine room, which takes suction from your sea, and then it supply continuously, it is supplying, and then it overflows through this, and then it is going to the overboard. This overboard has to be outside of the engine room. Most of the cases you will see this is our ship, and as the cargo space has to be divided, has to be separated. Our engine room, this is the engine room, by two bulkhead. This is the one which is the void space, or we can use that as a pump room, cargo pump room or ballast pump room. So this overboard you will see here in the pump room. It cannot be in the engine room, because as per regulation it does not allow. Why? If you are taking it to the engine room, this, if there is a hole here, then what will happen? All the hydrocarbon gases and the all unwanted gas, those dangerous gases will enter into the engine room. Suppose this pipe fails, because this pipe is continuously seawater, and this is highly corrosive gases is also that is, it is going to the overboard through that, and there can be chances like scupper outlet also. It is that's why surveyor will always check that pipe, overboard pipe, whether it is in good condition or not. So here it is not allowed this overboard to go into the engine room and then go to the sea. It will be outside the engine room, and most of the cases it will be in the pump room. And then how does it work actually? Here the gas is submerged, it is the pipe, your inlet pipe is submerged into the water. Then gas will come out like in bubble form. It means gas has to bubble out from here. And what will happen? Then there will be some carryover of water, because it is bubbling out through the water. Then there will be a demister which will separate that. And once it separates, then the dry gas will go to the main line, which is aft and forward. We have seen after that you will be having a mechanical non-return valve, then the deck isolating valve. After that it will go to the main line. Now suppose there is a pressure here, this is P1 and this is P2. So P1 is now, P2 has increased. In normal condition P1 will be more than the P2. So P1 is greater than P2. So now what will happen? P2 is greater than P1. The flow will be reversed. Once the flow is reversed, what will happen? You will be having a flow in the opposite direction. Once it is in opposite direction, now there will be a flow in this direction. What will happen? These gases will press this water. On the surface, it will act. And what will happen? Because of the pressure, this pressure P1 is less, this water will enter into this pipe. Once the water is entered into this pipe, then what will happen? At one height it will stop. At what height it will be stopping? Because this is P2 and this is P1. There will be an equilibrium because P1 plus this column that is giving a water head, that will suppose P water is equal to P2. So once it become equal, it will stop. So now this pressure P2 is equal to P1 plus this column, water column, and this works as a non-return valve. So it will stop going to the tank, going to the safe non-hazardous area. So this is one of the type which is wet type, because when in operation, lot of water can carry over. What is the problem with the water? Water can have the corrosion, as well as it can, if it is product carrier, it can, the crude carrier, it will not make much difference for the cargo, because it still itself is containing water, because it is extracted from the earth. It is not yet distillated, purified. But product carrier, that can be a problem because of the water carryover. So this is one of the type of water seal will be having. Now, the another type, which is the semi-dry type. So what will happen for the semi-dry type? This is the arrangement. So here, this is the inlet and this is the outlet. And this outlet pressure is acting here. And this side, we are maintaining, this is the inflow of the seawater. So this is the inflow of seawater. And then this chamber, it's separately, and one connection you have here. And then it is maintaining a head. And this is the overboard, which is going to the, for an example, it's through the pump room, it goes to the overboard. Now what will happen if this pressure has increased? This is the P1 and this is P2. So P1 is higher than the P2, it will flow in this direction and it will go to the, it will cross the mechanical non-return valve, then deisolating valve, and it will go to the tanks. Now here actually there is no interaction with the water. So, but when there is a P2 has increased, then the P1, then what will happen? There will be a reverse flow. Once there is a reverse flow, this flow will move in this direction. Then what will happen? This water will, this pressure will push this also water into this direction, because this pressure also will be increased. It is designed such a way, at up to certain pressure, it will maintain up to this. But the moment its pressure is increasing, what will happen? It will start filling. So this pressure is increased, this line is connected, it will move upward direction. As the pressure increases, what will happen? At one point, this will fill up like this, because this pressure is low. In this case, what will happen? It will come to an equilibrium. This height is the water column plus P1 is equal to P2. So it will stop here like this. So when there is a backflow, the water will come out from the chamber, water chamber, it will come to the U-tube and then it will make a seal. So because it will move in this direction higher, because the pressure here P1 is less and P2 is more, and that is the way it will give a non-return valve. It will work as a non-return valve. But this, why you call it then semi-dry? We should call it dry, because there is no chances of carryover, but there is chances of carryover. Why? This chamber, when there is no IG is not in operation, then what will happen? So initially, this level we are maintaining, it will be like this. So what will happen? This pressure is coming here, it will push out, and this chamber, this is like a nozzle. If you see, this is a nozzle. This area is reduced. Once this area is reduced, there is a vacuum created here. What will happen? This water will get separated coming back here, and then the gas will go in this direction. But what some gases will be carrying over. So when you start, always that some water will be carrying over with the gas. As well as this level, it's not necessary it will maintain here always. So there may be, but in operation it should not. If it is designed and maintained properly, it should not. But we can expect some water carryover, and initially definitely there will be a carryover of water. That's why we call it semi-dry. It is not that completely dry. Now there is the dry type. There is another type which, as I told you, this is also allowed to use individually. So this you can use as per the Solus, it's allowed, the wet type, and this semi-dry you can use. Now this is the dry type. Dry type, the problem is, means the how does it work? This is the gas which is coming from the your blower and the pressure regulating valve, and then it is coming here. There is no seal, it is going like this, and there is a pressure sensor here, and it has got a setting. Once the pressure increases, then what will happen? This will trigger an alarm, as well as it will open this valve, and this water is kept separately. So this is it is always maintaining the water level, and once this is open, then what will happen? The water, that it will become a wet type. So you have an water here. So as up to the level here, there will be water. In normal condition, this valve is open and this valve is shut. So this is open and this is shut. When there is a pressure increase here, back pressure, then what will happen? So this valve will open and this valve will shut. Once this valve is shut, you can maintain a water level here, and then it will act like exactly the same what we have seen in the wet type. It will become like wet type. So what will happen in this case? The water will enter into this chamber, because now this pressure will act onto this water, and the water column will enter into this, and at one point it will be stopped. When this is P1 and this is P2, P1 plus this water column equal to P2, it will stop. So that is the way. Now the problem is the control system can fail anytime. That is the problem with the control system, and if it fails, then what will happen? There is no barrier. So the hydrocarbon and all gases, IG, hydrocarbon, all will go to the non-hazardous zone, which is not allowed. So this we can use only as a additional, but not as a primary one. Primary one, both that the dry type, semi-dry and the wet type we use, and both are in use. Means all the ships, either one of that is been used. Now another thing, let me explain you this diagram. Okay, that is a diagram in your handouts. Let me go to that. So this one. So this is also ask cover, and this is, you have the water spray, you have the packed, that we have seen that different type of packing is there through which the water will flow downward and the gas will flow upward. So the interaction is here higher, and here if you see the inlet, so here the inlet is submerged into the water like the deck seal. So the flue gas is entering and then bubbling out. After that, it is moving. So this here we maintain a water level, and then continuously, suppose your water is supplied from your scupper seawater pump, and then it is maintaining, because outlet there is a barrier here, it will maintain up to this, and it is overflowing and going to the overboard. And then this is bubbling out, it means it is cooling and then going to this direction, and then some also it is getting separated and the remaining is separating here. Also this gives you a sealing effect. It means it makes sure that suppose you want to make an entry, this water continuously, if it is flowing, suppose the boiler uptake valve, because your flue gas is very highly corrosive, there are chances of getting leakage, and you have better isolation, it will give you another isolation, water sealing, so that this gas, even if it is leaking, it will not come to your scupper unit, because of this sealing arrangement. Because the sealing, when it is sealing, it means it will be very small pressure, it will not be that much pressure to bubble it out. So that gives you additional also. Another thing, okay, that I'll come to when we see we cover the alarm and safety we cover. So let's go to previous one. So this is the way it is arranged. Now is the fan. The IG blower, there is, as per the regulation, SOLAS regulation, there has to be 2 IG blower, and it says that the combined capacity should be 100%, 125% of the discharge capacity. Why it is so? Because discharge capacity depends on the pump. So when you are pumping out, that time the vacuum is created inside the tank. You'll have to supply by the IG, and IG capacity should be 125% of the maximum discharge capacity of the your cargo pump. That means that you will be maintaining the cargo tank pressure always positive. That is the reason it is a requirement as per the SOLAS. And there will be H4D is the blower standard, centrifugal blower standard, but this requirement is as per the SOLAS. This one is as per the SOLAS requirement. So you'll have to have 125%. Now you can have different arrangement. Some plant, it has got 100% capacity 2 blower. What is the advantage? If one blower goes wrong, still you can discharge the 100% capacity of the cargo. But if suppose you have 50-50, it is allowed. It says that you can have 175%, another one is 50%, total 125% you have. But suppose one fail, then what will happen? Suppose your that 75% one is failed, then you can only discharge at 50% rate, because otherwise you won't be able to maintain your positive pressure in the tank. So, and for 100% capacity of the discharge, you'll have to run both the blower together. And then you can have 100%, one auxiliary is 50% you can have. In that case, you have the 150%, which is exceeding your 125%. So that also can be arranged. So most of what happened, to save money, initially when this regulation came, the owners used to used to build with one large blower, another small blower. Small blower, we'll see why we need it actually. The large blower you use for the discharging. During the discharging, you need large capacity, 100 capacity, you use that. And the small blower, when during the sailing, what will happen? There will be some leakage, so pressure drops, the IG pressure in the tank drops. Then we do the topping up of the IG. We increase the pressure to positive pressure. It means it has to maintain a positive pressure. We usually 400, 500 millimeter of water gauge pressure we maintain. and we should never go below actually 100 millimeter water gauge. Then there can be a chance of air ingress. So to maintain that, if there is a leakage, suppose it falls to 200 millimeter of water gauge, then you again top up. During that time, you don't need large quantity because you are not actually discharging. You are maintaining, but because of leakage, it is happening. So small blower you can use. So the main ship owner and the shipyard used to have made the vessel like this. Then what had happened in experience, it has been found because this IG is, there are a lot of impurities and heat, temperature is high. So the IG blower failure, suppose the large blower is failed, then what will happen? You cannot discharge. With that small capacity, you won't be able to discharge. So then the owners realized, and the shipyard also realized, no, you cannot save money like that. It's better even you can have 100%, another is 50%, still you can discharge at 50%. But the smart owners, what they did, because if you lose the charter money, that's much more than what you gain from installing one large blower, one small blower. Instead of that, you install 200, means 100% each two blower, so that your charterer, ship is not going off air due to the cargo operation malfunction. And also you can do the maintenance of the blower which has been failed. Other one you can still use for 100% discharge. So your ship is not delayed. So finally, most of the good owner, they use 100% capacity of two blower. But there are still maybe 100% and 50%. But that large and small is nobody is using now. Then you have the supply line. Supply line, we have seen that supply line, it going to the tanks, and then there has to be it means the direction and the velocity has to be maintained. Once you have the velocity, it means to change the tank atmosphere, we need to have a certain velocity so that the atmosphere can be changed completely. Actually, there are two ways it can be changed. One is by the displacement method, one is by the dilution method. Where the dilution method is there, you need to have it means you need to have a velocity, and so that what happened, dilution method, it mixed with the existing atmosphere in the tank, and you need a turbo, means that it has to have a higher velocity so that it can mix, and then other side it gets released to the atmosphere. And if it is it means with the high pressure, with high velocity, we inject. Another one we do by the displacement. In that displacement, what we do, suppose your IG from the bottom, you inject into you supply into the tank, and then it pushed out in upward direction, and it pushed out through the vent. That is the displacement method. Both method you can do it. It depends upon the what means how much time you have. So that the dilution will take more time than the displacement method. So this is the way, it means you will have to direct to the vertically at the bottom, so that it can have the change of, you can change the atmosphere to it means the oxygen content you can reduce. So by one side it will be purging, another side it will be IG will be supplied. So the tank atmosphere, you can do it by the displacement. As I told you, displacement means it is pushing the existing gases will be pushed by the IG. So it will be vented out by the displacement. They will not mix together. So to avoid the mixing, it means you'll have to have slowly you'll have to supply at the bottom, and it will push out the gases from the top, existing gases. So that's why there is a fringe pipe that goes down at about 800 to 1 meter below, means above the tank top, and through that pipe we supply the IG to push it out. And there should not be any high velocity. Then there will be a turbulence. It will have a dilution effect. And the speed, that's why the velocity should not be more than 3 to 5 meters per second, so that it can displace. And if there is a splash bulkhead, many tankers will be having a splash bulkhead, which is to minimize your free surface effect. In that case, what will happen? Both sides separately you'll have to do. It means if it is a one tank, you can do from the complete tank together. But if it is a wash bulkhead or the splash bulkhead, then it has to be done both sides. Same procedure to be followed in the both sides. So that we can change the tank atmosphere, and we should avoid any gas pocket near the bottom, because there can be a gas pocket usually between the frame at the corner, because there may not be reaching, your IG will not reach there and it will remain there. The problem is the tanker, when you take the sample throughout the tank, it has to be some gas pocket is there, then what will between the frame two frames, suppose there is a gas pocket, somebody has entered, now he is cleaning because gas free is been done, but still there is a pocket. That's why throughout the tank, if it is not done testing of the what is the detection of the gases, then what will happen? The person who is doing the work in where the oxygen is 21%, the moment nothing will happen to him. The moment he enters into that between those two frames where there is a gas pocket, he will collapse. So that's why always there should not be any gas pocket. So you have to do the gas freeing, or the IG should be supply, and for the gas freeing that there will be air will be supplied finally, so that throughout the tank there is oxygen content is 21%, as well as the hydrocarbon gases should be, those are the toxic gases, should be less than 1% of the LEL, that is the lower flammable limit, or less than 2% of the lower flammable limit. Then it is not become poisonous, it gets diluted with the air. So this is the how we supply the IG. It means there are various ways you can supply the IG. There can be a fixed IG or filling line you can use. You can use the cargo piping system. Through that also you can use the IG line. You can connect it, and then in that case cargo line has to be isolated. Then the venting system, you need to have that mass riser. What we have seen, when you are loading, that time the pressure is increased, it has to be released. So how it is released? It is released through the mass riser. That mass riser capacity should be 1.25 of the maximum loading capacity. Like we have seen the discharging with connected with your IG. Here, when you are loading, this pressure is increasing, it is releasing through the mass riser. That capacity has to be 1.25 to avoid any overpressure of the tank. Then the pressure vacuum valve and the open ventilation outlet. That the one mass riser, what I told you, that is the open ventilation outlet. It is open. On the bottom there will be a valve. You can shut it off, and then there is a breather valve. That is the bypass valve. That is a small valve bypass to this main valve, which you can keep it open, because if there is any pressure leakage or something, that can get escaped through that. But during the loading, what will happen? That main master valve has to be open, so that because as the pressure increases, which will be released to the atmosphere through the open ventilation outlet. Now there can be a pressure vacuum valve. What is the pressure vacuum valve? Pressure vacuum valve is there is a valve which open at high pressure. When the pressure is generated inside the tank, that valve lift. This is not the breaker, this is a valve. And when there is a vacuum, that time that vacuum valve will open. This is like this. So this is the pipe which is connected to your tank. There will be a flange and there will be a pipe which is connected to the tank. And this is the valve which will, this side there will be a vacuum, and this side there will be the pressure. Pressure will be like this. So this is the vacuum. Here you will be having a float here, and there is a passage, and there will be a flame screen here. So what will happen when there is a vacuum? This valve will lift upward direction, and then the air will enter into the tank to break the vacuum. So that vacuum will not be, it will not collapse, tank will not collapse with the vacuum. And this side there will be a valve here. So this valve will like this. So once it is lifted, then the pressure is released. But there is a different arrangement here, that is it is closed by a magnet. There is a magnet here. So what will happen when the pressure is increasing, suddenly it will lift because the magnetic field will break at certain point. So at that point, it will be completely lifted. Once this completely lifted, then what will happen? It will have a velocity. It will look like a, this is the valve where, or this is the valve seat and where the valve is sitting, then what will happen? This is the valve which is closing this. What will happen once this lift, then suddenly there will be a gap here, which through which it is like a nozzle, through which it means there will be a gap here, through which the gas will come out. High pressure gas will come out. And once this gas is coming out, it will be directed upward, it will have a velocity. And it should not be less than 30 meters per second. It means when it is coming out, it will have a sufficient velocity to move upward direction, and then it gets diluted by the air. It will not catch fire. Even if it is catching fire, flame has got a velocity. It means it can come back when there is a, suppose it catch fire, then what will happen? That can travel inward and downward, and it can enter into the tank because this is open now. But it will not be, because the flame velocity is around 22-23 meter per second. But your releasing velocity is 30 meter per second. So by the time it will try to enter, this valve will close back because the pressure will be reduced here. So that is the requirement. That is the reason, one of the SOLAS requirement, that it should not be less than, when the velocity it releasing, it should not be less than the 30 meters per second. So this is the way the pressure, individual tank will have the pressure vacuum valve, and the ventilation, it will be common. Like we have seen the PV breaker, it is the common line. As well as the mass riser, there will be a ventilation outlet, that will be common. And this is the pressure vacuum valve with the high velocity vent, that will, individual tanks will be having the valve. And it can open at around 1200 to 1500 millimeter of water gauge. And it will be kept very close to your design pressure of the tank. It means tank will not get damaged, before that only it will release. But because of the pressure, differential pressure to get higher, you get the higher velocity. So this is the way the IG system works, and there are pipes and valves, that is the distribution system. We have seen the pipes are main pipe which is going to the aft and forward, and this pipe internally it is tar epoxy lining, because our IG is highly corrosive. That's why, because we are using the flue gases. So that is the reason it is internally it is anti-corrosive paint is put, so that it does not. Otherwise, we had to, once initially when this kind of regulation came, we have seen that many failure of the pipeline because of the corrosion. So after that, it has been modified. Now all means it is streamlined, everything is. So it is internally coated, it is lining is given, so that the corrosive gases does not, or water, which is also will contain sulfuric acid, so it will not be in contact with your metal. Then the flue gas, it means that flue gas valve, has to be that boiler uptake valve, what we have seen, that has to be have before the scupper, so that when the boiler is, means the IG is not operation, boiler is in operation, it should not be should not be coming to the your gas will mean, so flue gas should not come to the IG. But what will happen? This is our uptake, and this is our valve here. then what will happen? This portion, it is exposed to the exhaust from the boiler. So this also valve can get corroded. So what is the system actually? There is fresh air is continuously supplied so that this we lose some fresh air, but that protect this valve. That gives a sealing. Always when another thing, when it is open, this valve is self-cleaning. That one air pressure comes and that cleans the continuously, that flow is there through the valve seat, around the valve seat surface, so that it does not allow any deposits of the exhaust. So that's the way it has been protected. So PV breaker, we have seen that liquid filled, and instrumentation and alarm. So what are the instrumentation and alarm? There has to be certain fixed and portable instrument. Like you need to fixed O2 analyzer you'll have to have, as well as portable O2 analyzer you used to have, as well as portable hydrocarbon. There will be multi-gas detector by which you can check the other hydrocarbon gases, CO2, carbon monoxide, all these things can be checked, as well as the O2 content also you will be able to check. So it will be fixed and portable. Fixed is in the engine room. You have the fixed one by which you know that it is maintaining IG as per the requirement, otherwise it trips. So it will be around 5% you maintain. That is the good quality of IG. Though it is allowed 8%, means should be less than 8%, but up to 8%, then it trips. But you need to maintain the around 5% to have the better quality, a good quality of IG. Otherwise, every time there is any shifting, it will trip. If you are maintaining the maximum limit. Now this all automation, what you have, it has to have comply with this, should be withstanding the voltage variation, in all condition, humidity, vibration, there will be in the engine room, shock, impact, corrosion, still it should be, will be able to function. So that is the way it is designed. Now let us see what are the actually, we have the safeties. The operation part is here, but it is not in your syllabus. I have given you so that if you are interested, you can go through. But operation one, if anybody is joining a tanker, there is a separate course has to be done. That time in details it is been done. So let's see the yeah. Okay, alarm and trips, that what all alarms and trips are there. And before that, let us see one thing, that is the flammable diagram from flammability. This is the 21% of oxygen. This is by volume. And this is the hydrocarbon percentage. If you see this diagram, this is, if you draw this line here, it means at this point actually left hand side of this there is no fire hazard, but our limit is 5, 6, 7, 8 here. Why it is here? Because of the, are we sure the measuring equipment is giving you all the time is correct? No. So to have the safety margin, always it is around 11.5 or 11 depending on the hydrocarbon mixture. So we maintain, as per the SOLAS, it is 8%. But whereas it is 11.5%, below that it does not support combustion. And this is the lower flammable limit, or LEL and FEL is same. At this point, this is the lower and this is HFL or the HEL. upper flammable limit U or upper flammable limit or UEL. So it is same. So at within this range it will catch fire only. Outside this range it will not be. Above this is too rich because hydrocarbon percentage is too high. Below this is too lean. Too lean means oxygen percentage so high it will not catch fire. And this is the flammable range. And you have the dilution with air line, and this is the critical dilution line. It means at this point, if your atmosphere it is fail, it is the safe for the fire hazard. It will not catch fire. But if you are doing the gas spraying, during the gas spraying, what will happen? You will introduce a large quantity of air. Then what will happen? This will move once you introduce air. What will happen? Initially you have the oxygen contained and the hydrocarbon contained and the Ig. And now what will happen? Both the hydrocarbon percentage and the hydrocarbon percentage will reduce and the oxygen percentage will increase because you have introduced the air. So it will follow this line. It means from here to here, when it is coming to the 21%, before that it is crossing the flammable mixture, it can ignite. So that's the reason what we do. We purge it. We have to purge it by the Ig. So once you purge it by the Ig, what does it mean? We are introducing Ig in the tank. What will happen if you are introducing? It will purge out the oxygen as well as the hydrocarbon gases. So that is the reason, if you see, we are here, the percentage of hydrocarbon was here and percentage of oxygen is here, hydrocarbon is here. Now once you introduce the Ig, you are venting, actually you are purging the existing atmosphere. What will happen? As you introduce Ig, your both hydrocarbon and the oxygen level will reduce. And at one point you will be having a mixture of this. So this will be below the critical dilution with air. So that this is the line what we have drawn, that is the critical dilution line. Below that it will not pass through the flammable range. Above that it will pass through the flammable range, which is danger to us. So what we do, first we do the purging. Once we do the purging, your hydrocarbon percentage and the oxygen percentage will reduce and it will come below, we know what is the critical dilution percentage. Below that, once it's coming, after that you introduce the air. Once you introduce the air, oxygen content will increase in this line, because then the hydrocarbon will be move out from the existing, because air is been introduced, the oxygen content will keep on increasing to 21%. Once it comes to 21%, it is not crossing this flammable range mixture. That's why for the gas spraying, it is very important to reduce your atmosphere below the critical dilution line. After that, you introduce the large quantity of air to remove the hydrocarbon gases Ig and bring to the atmosphere to 21%. So clear everybody what I said? Now your one portion is remaining in this, that is the safeties. What all safeties is provided with you in the Ig system. Let us see that. Yeah, instrumentation and alarm. So you need to have certain portable and the fixed instrument, and as we have seen this system should be such so that it should be working in any condition, and scuppered seawater flow has to be, there should be an alarm either by flow, seawater flow or pressure. So it has to be and at certain pressure it will give you an alarm that scupper seawater flow is less or the pressure is less. So when that, there will be also a level alarm, that is the low level and the high level. Now low level, we understand if there is you are maintaining a level at the bottom. We have seen one of the construction, there we need low level, means the low level alarm. If it is going below that, then there can be a problem. But high level alarm, why do you need? Because if it is level is increasing, then what will happen? Your boiler uptake, which is coming from the boiler, that can get flooded. And when uptake is flooded, it means the boiler, the furnace will be flooded. To avoid that, we have the high level alarm also. In that case, automatically the IG blower will stop and you'll have to attend. It will, the IG system will be shut down, you'll have to attend it. And there can be another alarm, that is the sometime boiler, the scupper material is such that it cannot withstand high temperature. In that case, what will happen? There is a cooling system when the exhaust is, means the flue gas is entering into the scupper, it's been cooled down to a certain temperature. That temperature it can withstand the scupper material. In that case, the inlet temperature has to be measured. Inlet temperature, if it is increasing, it means that will affect your material design is not that level, so it has to be tripped. Then we have the differential pressure also is been checked, that is the across the scupper, which will give you that if it is clogged or not, as well as the high temperature alarm also has to be there, because high temperature means it's not cooling properly, and that can go to the tank because it is going to the blower. And this inert gas discharge side, there will be blower. After the blower, there will be a temperature. It is the blower casing temperature is measured, and 65 degree it will give an alarm, and 75 degree it will trip. And since our blower is centrifugal blower, what happened? Whatever remaining carryover which is going to the blower from the scupper, the water carryover, that gets separated there because it is centrifugal action, and then that gets collected in the casing, and casing has got a drain, and there is a loop seal. Loop seal we have seen in the air condition, it is the same loop seal. It means the water is continuously coming out from there because water will get separated there. Then the cooler, the scupper inlet, as I told you, if there is a cooler, then that temperature has to be monitored. Then the scupper efficiency, the differential pressure we measure, inlet and outlet of the scupper, we know the efficiency, and the temperature also, how much temperature is reduced, that is the cooling scupper efficiency also. By that two, by these two parameters we can sense. Then there will be probes, floats and sensor. And when cover that level, it will be, there will be the floats by which we know that the high level and the low level alarm. Deck seal alarm, there will be a level we are maintaining, low level alarm has to be there. And deck seal seawater pump has to be a flow alarm, low flow alarm, so that you can attend it and your IG will trip. And deck seal seawater pump, it will be 2 seawater pump. It is as per the regulation, SOLAS regulation. One will be in standby, one will be running continuously. Whether your IG is running or not immaterial, that is giving a non-return valve, acting as a non-return valve, separating your any flow, is preventing from the hazard zone to the non-hazardous zone. At all time it has to be in operation. Then you have the pressure, the high pressure and the low pressure of the IG main, it has to be maintained. And then we have seen the mechanical non-return valve, we know the purpose of it, and there will be sampling point and the water drain point also. So these are the safeties you have on the IG system. And when you suppose the pressure is high, IG pressure, then what will happen? IG will not go to your system, it will go to the atmosphere, it will vent it out to the atmosphere. and we have the PV breaker we have seen, and those are the safeties actually. And but the PV breaker gives you an alarm, but the PV valve does not give you alarm. You can see during the cargo operation, many times it lifts and it releases the pressure, excess pressure. But there is no alarm for that, but you can visually see it, and then it makes sound. So by sound also, the chief officer knows that the relief valve, the safety valve was lifted. And that is the normal during the loading it happens. So any question till now? So these are the safeties you have for the IG system. And if you want in consolidated way, this safety part, the alarm and safety, I'll give you, or next class I'll explain. That will take around 5 minutes, and then we'll start another chapter. And remaining portion, what I said, that is, as I told you, that what I said, the remaining portion, some portion I jumped, that is the operation part. Operation part actually in this syllabus, it is not there. Still I had given. If you are interested, you can read and understand. If you don't understand, you can ask me. I'll explain to you. But main is system component, which you have seen covered. I have covered, and what are the safeties provided. That is the main for this chapter, this syllabus. Any question? So if no question, then we close at the moment at this point, and we start at tomorrow morning again, 8:15. So we close it here then, if no question. Yeah, Asafa, any question?
No, Chief. I want to say thank you. Good evening.
Okay. Okay. Good evening to all of you. So we'll start again tomorrow morning.
Okay,
Alright.
good evening.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
evening, Chief.
Good evening.
Thank you very much.
Good evening.